Hello, we already live, but let's wait for a couple of minutes just for the webinar to appear on the LinkedIn, and then we start sharing, and I will start. So just give it a minute. And yeah, I see that we already live, so I would like to start and say that happy to see you all who is listening, who is watching us, even if it is live or if it is recording. And we have a couple of slides, we have guest speakers, but I think the most important, what I would like to start here is just to give a brief agenda on what's going to be happening today and what we're going to speak about. So this webinar is going to be quite exciting, and we're going to speak about the feedback about Amazon in 2021, and we have exciting guest speakers. And we're also going to speak mostly, like a main topic, we're going to speak about how to succeed next years. So we're going to split it in three different discussions regarding SEO and brand strategies, regarding PPC and advertisement, and regarding the new marketplaces and expansions. So please stay till the end, because in the end of this webinar, you will actually have a special offer from us, from INNELS. But before we start our webinar, I would like to introduce our guest speakers and us as well. So we have two guest speakers. Vitaly, we are very happy to see you on board here. And I would like to say that Vitaly is a CEO of Profit Whales, joining recently. I know Profit Whales myself. When I was working with Amazon, I remember like 4 or 5 years ago, I was actually in touch with the Profit Whales. And I remember back then it was only a software company, right, Vitaly? And now you probably developed quite a lot with many different services, right?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mark. That was a long time ago. Yeah, because we just started with an idea of all automation. Yeah, all the processes inside the Amazon ads to create a ads in one click. And right now you could see a few projects inside the Profit Whales. Which one of like the most like the big one is the Amazon Profit Whales agency as the full service agency. Yeah, so we help brands like scale on Amazon and out of it and connect all these dots inside all the analytics and to find out how to grow your business correctly. Yeah, so our beginning, right?
Yeah, we know that you've been a lot in different media as well, and actually would like to recommend, Vitaly, you have a very nice YouTube channel and sharing a lot of great PPC insights, topics, and in general, like I like watching your YouTube. I think it has a very nice content, so I recommend for everyone to check Profit Wells. And yeah, and the second speaker, a guest speaker, is Andres from Amazon itself. I think it's very exciting to have you, Andres, with our conversation ongoing. And I would like to say that Andres is managing Marketplace Sweden, one of the representative of Marketplace Sweden. And I think when we spoke before, it was also interesting to hear that you, Andres, been launching global selling feature on Sell Central, which actually gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of like and very easy way to launch on different international marketplaces. So maybe Andreas, you can talk a bit more. It would be interesting to hear also your responsibilities within, like at Amazon itself.
Thanks for inviting me here and thanks for being here. Very excited about as well the next hour here. Yeah, I'm Andreas, based in Sweden, Stockholm, responsible for the marketplace here in Sweden. Started my position last October, so be here from the very beginning, and responsible for building up this team and leading this here. Before, as you mentioned, I was part of the German organization, so I worked 6 years with Amazon in Germany, and one of my roles during that time in the 6 year was launching Amazon Global Selling, which is a team which is focusing on the US market, so helping European sellers to launch in the US.
Because I probably think that before, as I remember, it was two different marketplaces. You need to create them separately, and then only you can connect them, right? And now it is a cool feature that you actually can go in your European Sell Central account and have this global selling where you can open straight from your existing account a US account.
Yeah,
So,
we have actually since, and Sweden was the first marketplace where we did this. So it is a global registration now. So if you're registering automatically in all the different marketplaces. It takes a little bit longer, but then if you want to activate it somewhere else, you're already registered, and then it goes much quicker on this one now.
yeah, and yeah, great to see. I think it's also exciting to see that it's not only about Europe and US. In general, on Amazon, you can expand and have Sales Central connected to different marketplaces: Japan, Australia, Singapore, and etc. So yeah, thank you very much for introduction, Andreas. And I would like to also introduce us. You probably know about INNELS if you are subscribed to our page on LinkedIn. If not, please do so. We are posting quite exciting topics and different insights about Amazon and news as well. So me and Andre, we are founders and co-founders of INNELS, and we are a full-service Amazon marketing agency. We help brands to sell on Amazon and launch on global marketplaces. So one of our services, like I would say, main thing in our service, that we are data-driven approach, and we have a full service implementation. We are dealing with many different things, and sometimes even legal compliance or advice in terms of starting in a new marketplace. For example, if you're looking into expansion to one of the European marketplaces, let's say Germany, we can advise you how to register different things. Like, for example, you need to have a VAT registration, what should be the translations, and do the full setup for you. And it was quickly about us. And I would like to jump in the next topic and actually start our webinar with saying about this year. And Amazon has developed quite a lot, and we see a lot of interesting features has been implemented. For example, this year we saw a lot of different changes in the PPC space, in the algorithms as well. We see that Amazon becomes more competitive space, but also the customer base is increasing. And if you look at Amazon, how has it increased its advertisement opportunities or different opportunities within brand stores, making, for example, Amazon Live, Amazon Post that we're going to speak today, it's mostly for the brands. So brand owners have a lot of different additional opportunities selling on Amazon nowadays. And even if we speak about advertisement, for example, such things as sponsored display ads, nowadays you can have a lot of different features, like, for example, run external traffic and have have customers outside of Amazon bring traffic to your Amazon listing. But we're gonna speak a little bit more, and maybe here I'm giving a word to you, Andre. Maybe you can reflect on what has been the most cool features you see during this year on Amazon.
Yeah, sure. And I think that I like the most that Amazon actually worked quite a lot on introducing different programs and features. For example, we saw the development of Climate Pledge Friendly, which is the sustainability program where you can get a free badge. It's going to be Climate Pledge badge that's going to be visible on your product detail page. And this is a great way how to show Amazon customers that you are an environmentally friendly and conscious brand. Climate Pledge Friendly uses sustainability certifications to highlight products that are making an effort to kind of help preserve all natural kind of world. And if you get this badge, besides, of course, having an additional badge on the product detail page, and when customers will see what the Climate Pledge Friendly is about, you also get some additional marketing activities from a Climate Pledge Friendly team. It's a quite new team, but they're planning to push more and more those brands that are actually sustainable, so they get more visibility even on some separate pages. Besides that, of course, we can see that Amazon is slowly moving to becoming a social media platform. We have Amazon Posts, Amazon Live, where you can just share your content on Amazon with the customers. They can follow your brand, they can see the content from you, which is super great. And so we'll also talk about how we see it in 2022. Another thing it's nice to see that they're working on the new interface. Like this year, we saw a lot of different testings with that our Seller Central interface, as well as Ad Console, they're becoming more user-friendly. And I think this is so important compared to what was there 4 years ago. So you cannot even compare. Now it's way easier and way more friendly for the brands. As well as, of course, enhanced brand tools, experiments, brand tool for keyword research. You now have a lot of information about the customers. You have opportunity to do experiments, A/B testing with the title, main images, with A+ content. And of course, now you have access also to the keyword research tools. It's not from the third-party tool, but actually from Amazon. Besides that, I would say also that's really interesting to see that Amazon finally allowed to interact with customers again. So if someone left a bad review, we can actually get in touch. Now it's available in the US, but we expect it to be in Europe this year, next year as well.
Yeah, thank you, Andre. For me, I see the most exciting, what we actually see is a Climate Pledge Friendly for me personally. And I think that many of our clients are addressing some sort of sustainability issues. And we see how big of a boost Amazon gives for the brands, sustainable brands on Amazon. So we expect it as well. We're going to speak about this. We expect it to grow in the future as well. But since we are still here speaking about 2021, I would like to ask you, Vitaly, about the reflections about the PPC advertisement. Maybe you see how it affected the overall strategy and maybe the most interesting implementations that has been done this year.
Yeah, of course. The Amazon is like growing really fast during this year, and we see like a new CEO, for example, inside the Amazon this year we got, and also one of like the biggest things is around 10 billion listings and 50,000 of Chinese sellers were banned during like this period of time during the 2021, and all these things is showing us that Amazon right now is speaking about the relevancy. All things is about like that you need to suit the rules that Amazon provide you with, the rules inside like the organic results, like working with the listings, working with the brands, and of course the advertisement rules. Yeah, we see that Amazon start focusing like redesign ad console. Yeah, as like Andrew mentioned, that is like a great things because we start see much more data. They improved more reports that we could like follow, like the search term report, for example, the search term impression share. All the things start giving us more and more data. And of course, I think that a lot of software providers that will say like think that you start supporting the agencies and softwares in the case of the communication, in the case of the API connection. So right now we could make our work easier and show more data than previously. So they have done a huge work working as like the Amazon ads, yeah, not the advertising. They improved that, they redesigned it, they launched the unboxed event, yeah, where showing all things that will be done or already done inside the Amazon. So that is huge. I knew that most of these changes you could see inside the USA or Canada, like big marketplaces where you could feel that. Yeah, I mean, because they are testing on like big amounts of traffic, but still. Also, I guess one of the most important stuff that they have added, and we right now like tested that a lot. We provide a lot of feedbacks, and we get a part in some closed betas. It's about the Amazon attribution. They start connecting the external traffic and your Amazon traffic and see how that could influence. Yeah, so it's allow you to create some kind of like the UTM links and to see exactly how all this your traffic working. You could measure the impact from the Facebook, from the Instagram, from your blog or website. So that is huge because now we got, I guess, like one of the main messages. Yeah, here the one of is that Amazon will not support Amazon sellers. Amazon will speak from the Amazon brands, and now you should build that. You should build your identity. In the case of the creatives, you should be focused on your listings, be focused on your Amazon stores. They like it's some kind of, they will send you and provide you with some marks that okay, you do that, that is great, you have the external traffic, awesome, you are working on your brand, so please keep going. And now that was one of the main changes because you could see that CPC during like from quarter to quarter is increasing, the ACOS is increasing, a lot of competition inside the Amazon, and now you should fight for these positions. How? That will be the answer. Be the brand, adds like the external traffic, and I guess that is one of the most important insights according to 2021.
Yeah, and I think it's very important that you mentioned regarding removing Chinese sellers. And we also see that it's interesting how Amazon is becoming more and more serious regarding the fake reviews, removing and suspending those sellers, not giving them chance to sell again. And another thing that you mentioned as well is regarding the interface. I think it's quite nice interface with the advertisement panel. I don't think it's a very nice interface with the Seller Central itself. And again, for the listeners, we are mostly will be speaking here, I think, about the Seller Central and many things. However, just for those who are completely new to Amazon and maybe like never heard about the platform and how you can sell on Amazon, just very shortly saying there is two ways of selling on Amazon: Seller and Vendor Central. Vendor Central is when you sell products to Amazon and basically Amazon is acting like a retailer, and Seller Central is when you're a third-party seller selling on the Amazon platform and you have a full freedom over the pricing, the marketing strategies, and etc. It's just very shortly about the ways of selling. But yeah, Vitaly, thank you very much for reflection. And I believe we just next couple of minutes, we're going to jump to the next topics and speak about the next year. I see you already touched like a few points about this. But first, would like to hear from Andreas, from you. It was very exciting. I remember 1 year ago, Amazon launched Sweden, and we got a lot of questions. So Amazon is actually in Sweden, so it's covering Nordics right now as well, with like more prime sellers are becoming in Denmark, in Norway, we see as well. And maybe it would be interesting to ask, how do you see for the last year Sweden has developed, and maybe in general, like some reflections and insights about this?
Yeah, and I think Amazon was present in Sweden beforehand, but not with Amazon.se, with Amazon.de and Amazon.com. And Amazon is present in Denmark, in Finland, in Norway with the German platform, right? And this export functionalities is super important. And but then why did we open a store or our own store in Sweden and entered the Scandinavian market? It was kind of, we saw the more and more growing interest in Amazon. Secondly, it is important, and you talked about Climate Pledge, it is important for us to be closer to this customer on customer convenience side, because we want to be closer to this customer, but as well from our commitment to the Climate Pledge. By 25, we want to deliver everything within renewable energies, and we want to, in 2040, everything, the first e-commerce company which is doing everything with renewable energy. And so therefore we need to come closer to this customer to fulfill this one as well. And thirdly, which is I think important for the audience here, is we saw that, for example, in Spain or in Italy, more and more people started to look for Nordic products. The demand was increasing, and we saw that we don't have a lot of this selection yet. And we saw that outside there was not a lot of selection there. There is not a lot of export of this Nordic brands. And we saw that there are some challenges to go internationally, and this could be, with Amazon, easier now as well, or it is easier in my opinion, right? So we offering a lot of tools that sellers can join now the Swedish marketplace and then easily go exporting through the European fulfillment, through the Pan-European program, or joining then the other marketplaces. How was the year? It started very bumpy in 2020. I think the first weeks were the most horrible in my whole life. So everybody in my family made fun of me, of our translation errors and so on.
Yeah,
and I think I worked 22 hours in the first 2 weeks every day. So it was horrible. But then I think we got in more stable waters. And I think we are not perfect, but it's good. We see the last year, this year, 2021, was a learning year for us. We didn't enter with big bang like Boston Consulting or others predicted it. No, we want to learn first from this customer. We want to go step by step to build a trustworthy brand so that people trust Amazon. And so for this one, we added new carriers. We have now 3 carriers. We added the Prime. We added advertisement. We added the Swedish e-commerce academy with different partners together of seller education. We added English content in Seller Central and on the page. So we did a lot of the things to become more Nordic and to becoming more Swedish this year. I cannot talk a lot about numbers. I told you this in advance, Mark, but one number that I can mention is the traffic. And with the traffic, we are quite satisfied. SimilarWeb is a page that is tracking the traffic. And at the moment, we have 18 million views a month. And we are among the top 20 pages. We didn't do a lot of external marketing. We started now around Black Friday week with some external marketing. Otherwise, it was never external marketing, which we did. We reached 18 million views a month, which is quite nice. And among the top 20, Blocket is one Swedish e-commerce platform. It's a little bit different than Amazon, but otherwise we are one of the top destinations already. And I think this is good.
Yeah. And I remember as well when just started, a lot of news, a lot of media was brought to the mistakes on new Amazon Marketplace, and for others, just how it works. Amazon translates automatically the text. There is this option, which is actually a very nice option. It's way better than Google Translate, in my opinion, which translates listings automatically, makes the launched expansion a bit easier to the new markets. And everyone pointed out on the different mistakes, the grammar mistakes on the listings. But in general, I would say that actually it is growing quite fast, as we see the sales as well on the Swedish marketplace. And we actually see that mostly working at INNELS with the Nordic brands, we see that mostly Nordic brands try to expand in the Nordic countries. They don't go to other Amazon, like to other European marketplaces, which might be actually a mistake in terms of that there is demand for some of the products, let's say in Spain, as you say, Andreas. But yeah, thank you for insights. I think it's quite exciting, and probably we're just going to speak a little bit more right now about the future. There is a little note. Please let us know in the comment section below if you have any questions, or maybe can answer later as well. After the webinar, everyone's going to be sent recording, and we just going to speak about the questions, and we'll get back to you. So if you have any, we will be able to answer them as well. But the main topic of this webinar, the main aspect which we're going to cover today, is actually predictions for the year 2022. As this year was like very nice for sellers and brands, especially introducing a lot of new features. Next year probably will be even more promising. And here we bring it in 3 discussions, where first I would like to give a word to Andrei, which going to speak about the SEO and brand strategies next year. So word to you.
Yeah, and I think that also, Vitaly, interesting that you already mentioned the importance of actually working on the brand and the content. And it's actually true, because I believe that in 2022, it's you really want to focus on building the brand and community around it. It's not about, just a selling product for a cheaper price anymore. It's about building the brand, building the cult, and securing it, and making sure that you actually represent and show them all the products you have, the content about the brand, and etc. And in order to succeed in the long run, of course, you have to be oriented on utilizing all the brand features and brand new opportunities. And Amazon has a lot recently, which is super important to take advantage of. For instance, Amazon Post, Amazon Live. What Amazon is doing now is becoming a social media platform. As mentioned before, you can just start sharing content on your Amazon. You can get followers so they can actually go to your brand store, they can follow the brand. And after that, you can send out the email campaigns to them. So basically, you build a community, you can interact with them. In the future, you're launching new products, everything, you just send it to them, and they're aware of this. And we can also see recently that Destiny from Better MS mentioned that they're also testing interesting features that in some niches like home decor, you can actually go to the product detail page, and you can see that among the image section, you can actually put the text. So if you have 5 different products in the image, you can actually put tags, and customers can actually research and see other products of your portfolio. So I believe in 2022, Amazon will push it even more. They're going to do a lot of things related to Amazon Post, Amazon Live, where you can actually go and do the streaming online. And of course, a lot of features now are available in the US. So I believe in 2022, we'll see that those are going to be introduced in Europe, like Amazon Post, Amazon Live, and etc. It's super important to take advantage of this. In 2022, I also expect next year Amazon will push more of the brand tools. We already see that now you can get a lot of insights about your customers. You can see the alternative purchase behavior. You can see the basket size. You can also see all the demographic insights about the customers, their age, household income, education, their of course, gender, and etc. And this is super valuable information. Like when you're selling your products, when you're building the brand, you really need to know who is your customer, because this information can be used later in your product listings, what type of lifestyle images we're creating, what type of content, and the messaging. Another thing is we can see experiments are introduced on Amazon this year, and I expect that soon we'll have more opportunities for more in-depth experiments with the brand story related as well, connected together with the main images, titles, and etc. And I would say it's super crucial to take advantage of this. You really want to be data-driven when it comes to making decisions about your products, about the selling strategies. And of course, logistics, and I think we're not going to see great things happening there for the next 2 years. So you have to be prepared. I believe that it's going to be a bit better. We can see now that the restock limits are moving. So actually, brands that are selling for a long time, they have more and more units they can ship to Amazon warehouse. But still, if you're starting from the scratch, it's really important to be smart with this. Don't try to just ship all of the units you have. No, try to do like more slow starting, analyze the sales, and be data driven when it comes to the inventory management. That's going to be a crucial part of actually succeeding in 2022. And yeah, as we talked about Sweden, for the past couple of years, we saw so many great markets launched. And I expect in 2022, we will see more European markets, more global ones. And that's an opportunity for brands to actually test those, where you have a cheaper advertising, where you have more room for testing. And then that's opportunity for you, of course, to enter new markets and then implement the strategies for bigger markets or for some other markets that are next to, let's say, Sweden, Spain, or Italy. And some other things, just what you can do today, go and take a look at your current product listings. There are two metrics that are important: traffic and conversions. Traffic stands for how many visitors you have on your product listings. Conversions, how many of them are actually purchasing. And in order to succeed here, you really want to first make sure that your main image is on point. Go to your main keyword, do the research, and see how does the first page on Amazon looks like. What our competitors are doing in terms of the main image. You need to think about it, how to stand out, how to ensure that you have better click-through rates. And yeah, based on some rules, all the images should be on the white background. But to be honest, based on our experience, you can do some elements on the picture and your listing will not be suppressed. Even if something happens, you can easily make a change, but you can definitely do some A/B testing with the main image, put more elements and maybe a bit of infographics. Another thing is A+ content. The keywords you're putting on the backend of the pictures, the text you put to your A+ content, it's actually getting indexed and you get more visibility and ranking. So make sure to go to your A+ and just check, hey, do we have backend keywords on our images? What about the copy? Do we have at least 200, 500 characters there? It's going to make a difference. In 1-2 months, you will see it. Another thing, images. Do you have a lifestyle image? Do you have an image that represents dimensions of your products? Do you have an image that talks about the brand? And do you have an image that actually shows the benefits, not just the features? Features are nice, but most of the customers, they care about the benefits and why they should go for your product and your brand. And it stands for, of course, next, we talked about more like a content indexing. You really want to ensure that you're using some third-party tools, for instance, like Helium, to just double check how many organic keywords you rank for. And are you doing well there in terms of the ranking? Or there is something you can work on both your front end and back end. Go to your keywords on the back end, make sure those are maxed out, you have all the characters, you don't have duplicates, and you can actually work on this and change those keywords once per 2 months, once per 3 months, because once you get some visibility for certain keywords, you're not going to lose it in most of the cases. So you can actually put more keywords, get more indexing for new ones, and then work, of course, on ranking by utilizing advertising tools and, of course, SEO optimization. And here we're also talking about experiments. Don't be afraid. You should really be data-driven. Do the experiment for the main image, for the title, for the A+ content, and see what actually data tells you. And now you have all these opportunities. Amazon, when you're running the experiments, Amazon will automatically show 2 versions of your title number 1, title number 2, and then you will get all the data about the visitors, click-through rate, conversions, and based on this, of course, you can decide which ones you want to stick to. Also, we talked about a lot of different tools. You need to utilize Wine if you want to get some reviews, and also a lot of demographics. Again, I really think it's crucial. Go to your brand tools or go to your analytics, try to understand your customers, try to understand what they're buying if it's not your product. This data will give you a lot of thoughts to actually brainstorm about and optimize the strategy for 2022.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andrei. I believe I would just elaborate from our vision how we are managing the clients and in general. If we speak more about the brands, if we speak more about the brands than the product listings, it gives better results in the long term. So if you're just focusing on the listing, if you're promoting listing on Amazon, an individual listing, and think about how to sell products right now, then it probably give a good results, but not in the long term. And if you actually think about the brand strategy, if you advertise the brand store, if you lead your potential buyers to the brand stores, to the A plus content, if you communicate the story, the brand, and if you think about how to return and how to keep this clients, this is actually a value in the long term. So when it comes also to the most important metrics on Amazon, for example, if you calculate ACOS and how much you get return from the advertisement spend, it's just one order what you can get in the advertisement panel. You see one order from there is a click and then there is one order. But if you think about this customer, how to return them in the future, it actually brings much better ACOS or return on investment in the long run if this customer they bought it. If you have a nice branding, if you have a nice packaging, if you have a nice messaging, they might return and buy this product again, which is very valuable. But I believe
Yeah,
this
and
is the
actually
most.
another
Yeah.
thing is just I think we see it so much that you need to also take into account the local. Like when you're entering the Italian market, it's not enough with just putting the same content. You can actually do the image upload now from your main account. You can separate your pictures by the marketplaces and localize it. It's super important to understand customers in each of the markets and not to see them as, okay, what I do in the US will work in France and Italy. No, you need to localize the language, and you also need to localize the messaging you deliver.
And I think you can get a lot of data from Amazon itself, from the demographics that Andrei just mentioned, and understanding both markets that you're entering and being local, as well as your target group. And this is one of the key success. And I think the main point that you're trying also to say here, Andrei, regarding the next year, and in order to succeed from the brand perspective on Amazon. And yeah, thank you very much for this talk. I think it is exciting to hear. And the next thing is about more analytical stuff and about the PPC itself. And Vitaly, you as an expert, I believe it might be very interesting to hear from your vision about the Amazon next year. And yeah, please let us know what you think about it.
Yeah. First of all, Andre, thank you for all these feedbacks. Yeah, it's absolutely true. I'm like pretty sure that right now all these updates inside the listings, all these updates to create a brands, working with the creatives will be like the top for being like upfront of your competitors, because not all like do that. Yeah, no, they most of the Amazon sellers, they like miss that because they don't think that that could work. Yeah, they are not spending a lot of money for this stuff, for making this working. So that's why maybe it's not something effective. But I'm pretty sure that right now relevancy will work in really in the other way than previously, because you could see a lot of bans inside the Amazon, yeah, with the fake reviews or the manipulation of the reviews. And I think that for us, it's a great opportunity when you start thinking about the PPC as the one main and general approaches that help you to rank organic keywords, yeah, that help you to influence your organic results comparing. And most of the Amazon sellers keep watching into the ratio between PPC and organic sales, like the difference between them, how to influence that. Because according to the all audits that we have performed during this year, and it's like more than more than 500, I guess, during this year, a lot of around 90% of Amazon sellers, they just miss it. They never see and compare the ratio between the organic and PPC results. They are not to do the analysis what keywords are selling and why, and maybe should I add more, yeah, to increase your semantic core. So that will be one of the main and first step that you could do now and today, just to check your 1 year results, like for the 2020. First, check what keywords bring you most of the sales, what campaigns bring you most of the sales. Maybe you should separate them or add much more keywords, yeah, for the test, because I think that you are not filtering the search term report, and that could be something where you could grab most of the sales. And first of all, influence your organic rank. That is like one of the easiest things right now to influence your market. And don't forget about the attribution window inside the Amazon will check and once again check your data every 14 days. So if you will do all these changes today, keep going and keep testing, but not so quick. Yeah, you should wait for when you will have all needed data around like 1 week, 2 weeks, and then compare, then add more. And of course, you should do that based on your, as and we have mentioned, traffic and conversions, because if you have low conversions, you should influence that, and that could be one of the way how you should do that. And the next thing, I guess it's like more for Amazon sellers who want right now expand, their traffic, because you should understand that Amazon and each marketplace is the limited traffic platform. I mean that people go to the Amazon for search and buying some products. Before that, they could do the research, their own research on Google, on social media, on different other platforms, and you could attract them from these platforms to your Amazon store and to see how everything is working. Of course, you will use the Amazon attribution as the one way, but another one is like we're spending a lot, inside the Amazon PPC. We attract a lot of traffic inside Amazon, out of the Amazon, but you should have a good remarketing campaigns. And now one of the good way how to do the remarketing and get a great analytics inside the Amazon, that will be a DSP as the demand side platform. Absolutely, you could use that right now on like USA, UK, Canada marketplaces, and that will be something that will help you to catch the sellers who see and like watch your listings, click on them, check the competitors of yours, but do not check your listings. You will have a chance to separate this audience and to set up a remarketing campaigns to them. After that, like after 1 month, you will have a chance to collect much more and detailed data in the case of the demographic, in the case of the behavior, in the case of lookalike audiences. And based on these, and I guess it's like crucial to understand, it's much better and much detailed than brand analytics, for example, or inside Amazon data. You have all these details for setting up all your external campaigns on Facebook according to the audiences, on Google according to all your sponsored display campaigns, for example, on Pinterest, based on the interests and audiences. And in this way, you also have a chance to update your Amazon PPC campaigns, because you will have much more details and from Amazon site. If you will compare this data, for example, you have your Shopify store, you have your own website, you have a setup Google Analytics, and you will have a chance to compare why and who buying the products from your website comparing to the audiences on Amazon, because that could be two different audiences. One will trust Amazon, another will not, and they do own research based on other marks that help them to make the purchase, right? So you should separate them, analyze them, and here's the third step. I guess it's important and crucial for 2022. It's comparing and launching all these A/B tests with all needed analytics, because you should absolutely have a PPC campaigns. Right now, you will not have a chance to grow your organic results on like different ways. You should have the external traffic campaigns for engaging more people to the Amazon stores, to your Amazon listings. And if you will get sales, you will have a good promo from the Amazon, around 10%, like back as like the bonus. And of course, the third one is comparing and understanding what is working well, what is working not so good. You have a chance to compare different creatives inside the Facebook, Pinterest, Amazon, and do the change and improve it. Because for example, in DSP, you will have a special report based on the creatives. You will have a chance to choose one the best and one the worst, change the worst, and keep going. Keep testing and to find what is the way is better. So now Amazon and PPC will be not so easy as previously. I mean, we will not focus only on the Amazon PPC. It's right now, it's just the beginning. Then I hope that during the 2022, you will have the ecosystem of the actions and platforms that you're testing. You will have a different directions as your Amazon stores, Amazon listings. You will have your website. You will have some landing pages that will be connected with all these DSP things, with your creatives that you will test around, and you will start collecting your audiences and outreach them everywhere. So you should be a brand, for connecting all these things, and you should have a clear analytics for understanding what is working good, profitably, and what you should change and improve.
Yeah, thank you very much. I also believe it's a very nice point that you mentioned, that sometimes selling on the website compared to selling on Amazon might have two different scenarios in terms of how you attract traffic and what kind of target group do you have. And especially it's very interesting right now to test different platforms And I believe that there is some certain type of customers who are actually more willing to buy on Amazon just because they have a Prime membership. They're more likely, they know already, they have the credit card information, enter into the details. They just can click on a buy box and have it and have the purchase done. But I'm also wondering, maybe Vitaly, from just wondering from my side, you mentioned here a lot about the DSP and sponsored display ads. Do you know, maybe you recommend at which point the company should go with DSP and with the sponsored display? And do they need to start with both, or they can just start sponsored
Yeah.
display, maybe managing themselves, and then just jump in a DSP later?
What we do recommend, it's a really good question. We recommend to start DSP and do not pause that. Like you should just begin working with the DSP. And I know that a lot of Amazon will tell you that you could go with them with a great cap around like 30,000 or something like that per month. And working with the agencies, you could go lower, but you need that. You need that for building a remarketing campaigns and understanding your audience, collect the data. Yeah, so first month you will get some ROAS. Yeah, it's working good. It's around like 2-3 ROAS could be on the beginning during the first months. It's not so high, but remember that is the algorithms. Yeah, you should give some time for these algorithms to collect the right data, to perform some optimization inside, and you will see that during the second month you will have a chance to spend more and get more from the Amazon DSP. And then you will have a chance to like expand your campaigns, not for the remarketing. You will have a chance to grab some audiences and optimize your sponsored display and sponsored brands campaigns on Amazon, maybe out of Amazon, to perform some tests on the Facebook, on the Pinterest. Yeah, you will have the right understanding of the audiences who are willing to buy from the Amazon. Like exactly, you will have this understanding, and that is good. And after that, you will have a chance to expand it through the interests. Yeah, I mean, you will start working with the cold audiences. For example, you think like, okay, I would like to add some more interests where I will reach cold audiences. Yeah, based on that, and what DSP will bring to me. So that is like a really great tool. And now inside the Amazon USA, we have a lot of doubts around that, from our clients, that they say, no, DSP will not work. We have tried it 1 year ago and we just failed. We spent a lot of money and we do not get enough sales. We do not have enough reports. Yes, that was previously. But after the close betas that they have performed during this year, we could see how is important right now to use the DSP correctly, how DSP provided with the right data. And the first thing is like, do not rush with the huge budgets on the beginning. Yeah, understand why you're using that, because we set up, for example, one product in 12 different like ad groups. It's like, the conditions, like people who saw your listings minus people who saw your competitors, and different things that will help you to separate them. Do not duplicate your audiences and start growing it fast. So there is a really great tool. And now most of our sellers on Amazon, they have the same budgets as they have inside the Amazon PPC, the same budgets for DSP. And that is huge, because when we are speaking about like millions, people previously do not believe in DSP in this way.
Okay, in our case, we actually see that people are mostly using PPC. And if I speak about percentages, maybe like 70-80% PPC, and then only like 20-30 DSP. And actually it would be interesting to ask, because DSP is mostly, it's about the brand strategies, it's about the brand awareness. And from the beginning, to set up the ROAS target, it's not the right KPI. So maybe Vitaly, what would you recommend to set up as the first KPIs to track, like basically to have some kind of goal where to strive or where to go for with the DSP? What would you recommend?
Yeah, I would absolutely recommend to go with the ROAS. I would absolutely do that, because a lot of people, they just saw that like the DSP is only about the brand awareness. We will pay for some views, for thousands of views, and maybe we will build a brand awareness. No, I would like to speak from the brand side, from the brand owners. We would like to find the best CPA for our listings, for our businesses, for our products. If we will have a chance to do that, that will be great. That will be like as many people say, money-making machine. I will invest all money that I have, for all these tools. So right now, the most important stuff is understand what tools you should test and understand what results are you getting for improving that, and what is like the top ROAS that you could get or anything else. So you should keep going. But according to our experience after the last 6 months that we're working hard with the DSP, ROAS could be one of these examples. But you should calculate it correctly. I mean, not only the ROAS that you could see inside your cabinet, you should get a special reports that will show you the clear ROAS, not based on the views, based on the clicks, as typically we see inside the Amazon PPC. And that could be something. You will see that you will have a chance to set up a ROAS in the good way, in the good results, the same as you have inside the Amazon PPC. With the help of the time during the 1, 2, 3 months, everything will start working much better. So just keep going, and yes, that will be something that will bring you a sales.
You still go for ROAS. I think this is the main takeaway from this answer. Yeah. And thank you very much, Vitaly. I believe we are also a little bit over our planned time, because we can speak about the PPC for hours and ask each other probably hundreds of questions. It's a very exciting topic, but I believe that we need to jump to the next one. And here it's even more exciting from the perspective of the sellers who actually think from the brands who actually think about Amazon as some place where you don't get any support, where you just have a lot of different issues with the account verifications, with the product approvals and etc. We speak with a lot of companies who say that Amazon is not for us, just because we tried and we faced a very huge verification process which we didn't go through, or because we didn't understood maybe which market to start. And here I really appreciate, Andreas, you being on this webinar, because you know way better also, you can maybe elaborate on this topic as well as about the new marketplace, Sweden, and tell a bit about the opportunities and the next year from your perspective.
Yeah, and let me disagree. I don't know if this is the most interesting part or the sessions beforehand, because I learned a lot from Vitaly and from Andres, so it was really useful for me as well to be here.
That's great.
Yeah, I put here a few bullet points. Biggest opportunities to start selling on Amazon. For me, it's the international sale. And Mark, how many people living in Denmark?
I think only 6 million, if it is even a bit less. So. And
in Scandinavia, 23 million or something like this?
Yeah, maybe around that.
And then in Europe, we have 700 million, right? Globally, we have many more, right? Amazon globally has more than 200 Prime members. So I think it's 200 million Prime members. And I think this is a huge opportunity. And international selling should be always on top of somebody who wants to expand and be quicker than the competition on this one, because during this Corona time, it accelerated, right? And I just read this e-barometer report from PostNord, is a post service in Sweden. They're doing this quarterly and annual survey, and they said the acceleration through this Corona time was 3 to 4 times on this curve which we are going. And we see it not only adoption from customers, we see it also adoption from sellers who saw opportunities to go online now and to be there with your brand and building your brand, building an emotional brand, right? You cannot wait, right? So you need to be there very quick on this one. And so I think this is a huge opportunity which is there. The online marketplaces, I think, give you a lot of opportunities of getting traffic very quickly into on your products, if you do it right, if you do what we just heard before. And I think to mention a few numbers, right? In Europe last year, so 2020, we had 185,000 small medium brands selling on Amazon. 50% of them, or more than 50% of them, are doing exports already. And they created more than 12 billion euros of sale, right? So this is kind of impressive numbers of small medium companies. What is the biggest opportunity at the moment? I think it's the new marketplaces. And before I was heading the pan-European team in Germany, and I'm close to a few of these customers or of our sellers. And one of them congratulated me when I took this role in Sweden and said, I wish I would have been on the German marketplace 15 years ago. It would have been so much cheaper to build up my ranking. It would have been so easier to build up my ranking. Now in Sweden, I know what he means, right? So we have one seller, Elixir Pharma. They did quite well on driving relevant traffic to a product and doing a deal on this one to have good conversion on this one. They did this before the Black Friday week, and within a day, right, with doing this, right, driving traffic, having a good deal, so the traffic was converting. The algorithm learns this and says, well, this is a relevant product, many going, many buying, and on the next day they were with their products number 1, number 3, number 5, number 6, right, with 4 products. And I don't know, Vitaly, you can confirm if this is possible in other marketplaces, but I think it's very much more difficult. And this is an opportunity on new marketplaces. Be there early, build up your ranking. If you are on the top, it's more difficult to kick you out there if you're doing the game afterwards, right? But these kind of effects are there, are really good. And a lot of sellers are talking to me. They're joining Amazon Sweden at the moment because they see the traffic numbers, which I mentioned earlier, and it's different traffic. If you're a beauty brand, usually doing Google shopping or Google traffic, which you're steering traffic on, you're only this traffic attracting, which is relevant for your brand. This is cross product family selling, and you get much more different customers who will suddenly discover you, and they want to experiment with this additional traffic which they're getting. Where to start? Sweden, Germany, Europe, globally. There's no way around Germany. You need Germany because it's a huge marketplace with a lot of exports. But maybe what I just mentioned convince you about Sweden could be a nice place to explore things. We don't have all the tools that Germany has. We don't have as many customers as Germany has. But we have it in English or in Swedish. You can get to know all these tools. You can experiment. You can see quicker successes. And it is cheaper at the very beginning. And I built up a team of more than 20 account managers now. It is easier to get this kind of support. Link me of LinkedIn and then I can connect you, right? So this is something, it is a little bit more personal and of getting this one. And we have promotions, right? You can have this FBA Easy Starter package where we will help you in the first 2 years on VAT registrations in all the 5 other major marketplaces, filing for 2 years, marketing support, translation support, logistics support. So there's a lot of things what we can offer in Sweden ongoing internationally. So it could be a nice way of starting easy, experimenting. We heard this often today, and then being successful internationally. And yeah, the last one which I have here is what makes a selling partner successful. I think most important is your product, and you need to concentrate on what your strengths are. Good product, so relevant product, good quality, sustainable material in there. So I think this is really important in today's world in order to differentiate yourself. Then do emotional marketing, emotional brand building. We talked today about this one. Do good listings. We talked about this one today. Sharp prices and lead the right traffic, converting traffic to this one. All my previous speakers talked about this one, so I don't need to repeat this one. And this try and error is so important as well for me, that you need to willing to invest. You need to sit down, have a dedicated person, or you need to dedicate time to this one. Otherwise, it will not be successful. If you don't have this time, use experts, which we have here on this call, on helping, steering, and guiding you, right? Especially at the very beginning, it's important to get the right help on this one. And I think with this one, you can be successful. This would be my 4 or 5 minutes speech.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andreas. And just a few notes. I think it's also quite exciting that you mentioned regarding the example of, I think, Alexis Pharma, right? They, just for others to understand, the supplements and the health and category, supplements is the most competitive niche on Amazon. It's very, very expensive to get to the certain point, and it's very expensive to advertise, of course. And in such marketplaces as Sweden, especially for the Nordic companies, you can start small. You of course need to invest, but you can understand how the market looks like. And with the help of account manager, it is a very big benefit to have account manager. First of all, I really think that it helped us to launch accounts much faster and have a support in for different aspects. Because, for example, in US, you have no chances of getting it unless you are a part of some programs, for example, Launchpad or others. But in Europe, in markets like Sweden, if you get it, you can go through the verification process much faster. You can have different advices. Yeah, Andreas is mentioning as well. And maybe Andreas, a question I would like to ask is something that comes from my conversations that I had with the different companies, saying that it might be more expensive to start on Amazon in terms of like in the end when you sell, when you already optimized your advertisement, the fees on Amazon is much higher than on the web shop. And what do you think about this? Maybe you have any comments about just comparing web shops and selling on Amazon, these two scenarios?
So you only pay for when you're selling. So I think this is important. And if you're selling on Amazon, right? A lot of this sale which is happening, it's not necessarily on Amazon, could happen in your web store as well. And Vitaly was talking about other channels and other things, right? And I think on Amazon, it's easy to create brands and you need to invest in this one, right? And Amazon is using these fees for, we are doing marketing, we are doing driving Google traffic and so on in there as well for what you don't need to pay then, right? We are paying this financial fees, right, with this credit card. We have this web hosting on this one. And again, you only pay when the sale is on Amazon. So my recommendation is always you need to have your own web store, because as well for me personally, right, if I'm a customer and I'm looking at the Amazon product or at the product on the Amazon page, I often, right, so in 80% of these cases, I want to check, do they have their own web page? Do they talk a little bit? It's usually very helpful if you have this A+ content, if you have some emotional content there, if you have video content there, it's already much more attractive. But I still often look at their own web store and so on, right? And then often the sale might happen there, right? And so therefore use it as well for traffic generation, right? And if you calculate it like this, I don't think that the fees are that high anymore. But maybe I'm biased.
No, but I really wanted to hear your opinion on this, because we always tell it to different companies, and especially with the example I think almost all of us mentioned today, that once you bring with the PPC advertisement products to the top, once you show to Amazon that it's converting, you can actually reduce your PPC spend and keep the organic positioning, because you already proved to Amazon this is the placement where people are buying my products, and Amazon is interested in actually providing the best customer experience for the end consumers and providing the best products which are converting well. So this is a big benefit, and we see that advertisement spent on Amazon and on Google Ads, for example, is cheaper in terms of pay per click, and secondly, it's also less budgets needed because you have a lot of sales from organic ranking. And I just listened to another webinar about Amazon, like I think a couple of weeks ago, and one of the other leaders in the industry said that from one PPC sale, you're actually getting 3 organic sales. I don't know how, like, on average how true it is, but like we really see it across the accounts, and we really see that with the investment you can succeed on Amazon. But thank you very much one more time, Andreas. I think we are going towards the end of our webinar. And before we just conclude, I would like to shortly say that we would like to offer companies which are interested or which are already selling on Amazon a free of charge audit or research based on what is your status within Amazon. So how does it work? You will have our contact details. You can write us an email or on LinkedIn, and we can go through your existing account. Or if you're not selling on Amazon, we can see the market and understand and evaluate what is the best market for you to start with, and maybe what is the best product range to start on Amazon. And this is something we are doing completely free of charge until the end of the year. We decided that would be nice to spend a little bit of our time and evaluate different niches and see if maybe interested companies would get even more interest after our research. So feel free to get to us after this webinar. And the last thing I would say one more time, Vitaly, Andres, and of course, Andre, thank you very much for presentations. Thank you very much for such interesting topics. I think we covered completely different aspects, and in total to have a good vision about what is going to happen next year on Amazon. So as I also got a confirmation from all of you, so listeners can connect with you on LinkedIn, and then maybe also get in touch and ask a couple of questions. So yeah, one more time, thank you very much, and I hope you will start soon. Happy holidays as well. So already talk to you next year, and we'll see how it's going to happen on Amazon.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye-bye.